Technique 3 concerns the inner mentor, levels of consciousness, and the formation of the perceptual bridge. As we begin to comprehend the true structure of multidimensional anatomy, with its Cathara grid, Hoover bodies and shields, dyadic points, and levels of bioenergetic substance, we can begin to see that there is much more to human consciousness than meets the eye, much more energy identity operating presently beyond the view of our three-dimensionally focused earthly personality. There are portions of our consciousness stationed within the Hoover bodies of the higher dimensional fields, and these expanded levels of ourselves hold knowledge and participate in perceptual experience beyond the usual range of our waking perceptions. As we evolve and expand through Hoover body integration and the resulting activation of dormant DNA components, we will progressively have greater conscious access to these expanded levels of consciousness while we are actively focused within the waking, three-dimensionally embodied state. However, we do not have to wait until our evolution plods along to bring us to these expanded perceptual states. We can, from our waking state of three-dimensional consciousness, begin to actively tap this hidden reservoir of knowledge and perceptual experience. We can take an active hand in expediting the process of our multidimensional evolution by using our Dimension 3 mental body awareness to direct our higher awareness into our current range of perception. This way, we begin to build a perceptual bridge between our third-dimensional and higher dimensional consciousness. In taking the initiative for building this bridge of consciousness, we begin to stimulate our higher senses into operation, expediting the natural process of higher identity integration. Through building such a perceptual bridge between our present state of awareness and the levels of our consciousness stationed in the higher dimensional Hoover bodies, we can actively expedite our own biospiritual evolution. The higher dimensional levels of human consciousness are not dormant within their respective dimensional bands of function. They are quite awake and aware within their own dimensional fields. As we perceive and interact with the three-dimensional world within which our present awareness is focused, the higher dimensional portions of our consciousness are also actively perceiving and interacting with the dimensional environments within which they are focused. Higher dimensional aspects of our awareness only seem cut off from our perceptual view because our consciousness is presently focused through a genetic code arrangement and Cathara grid orientation that blocks out the frequencies of those higher stations of identity. If we can realize that expanded portions of our consciousness simultaneously exist within the higher dimensional frequency bands, we can also realize that it is possible to access such levels of our own identity by building perceptual bridges between our three-dimensional perspective and the portions of our consciousness stationed within the higher dimensional Hoover bodies. We can begin to build a perceptual bridge between ourselves and our higher selves by using simple frequency modulation techniques of Cathara healing. In this scalar grid activating exercise, we will awaken dormant party key phasing flash lines and activate dormant portions of the Cathara lines in the Cathara 12-tree grid to begin opening the channels of communication between the consciousness focused within the Nada Hoover body and that focused within the Alphi Hoover body of Harmonic 2. In this exercise, we will create the mentor, a portion of our consciousness composed of third, fourth, and fifth dimensional frequencies that will serve as an intermediary focus of awareness through which we can begin to receive guidance and knowledge from our second harmonic of consciousness. Creating the mentor will begin the process of activating dormant DNA, opening new nerve networks within the central nervous system of the three-dimensional body, and activating dormant apartheid frequency receivers within the level 2 crystal seal's Cathara grid. Through creating the mentor, we begin to build a perceptual bridge between the first and second harmonic of our conscious awareness. The mentor is a portion of our identity that we create to serve as an intermediary focus of awareness between the Nada Hoover body and the Alpha Hoover body, a perceptual bridge between our first and second harmonics of consciousness. Before we begin the technique, we'll comment on the relationship between the mentor and Cathara healing, and its other uses. In the practices of Cathara healing, we use the mentor as a source of guidance, information retrieval, objective observation, and as a communications link between our own higher consciousness and the higher levels of consciousness in those who come to us for healing facilitation. Awakening and working with the mentor will become a standard practice in our applications of Cathara healing. In creating the mentor, we are using our creative power of scalar grid manifestation, the use of thoughts and mental images as scalar grid morphogenetic field forms, to bring into being a specialized portion of our consciousness that can relay frequency from our higher harmonics of consciousness to our three-dimensionally focused identity. With repeated use of the mentor focus of awareness, we will develop the ability to simultaneously hold two harmonics of consciousness, and we will begin to reclaim the natural flexibility of focus that is the healthful condition of embodied human consciousness. Through the mentor focus of attention, we can reach higher levels of cognition and understanding regarding application of healing facilitation, and we will more rapidly call into awakening the higher sense facilities of the 15-dimensional anatomy. In creating the mentor focus, we will begin to realize that even the three-dimensional focus of awareness with which we are most familiar is far more flexible than we might once have supposed. The mentor is not simply an inert creation, but rather a living portion of our conscious identity, composed of portions of the waking self and portions of the higher self. So mentor can become an advisor, a portion of self able to keep its head above the illusion when you are confronted with challenging events in the three-dimensional arena. A part of you able to remain calm, focused, and able to make clear decisions beyond the confusion of mental or emotional body processing. Your mentor can be sent into the cellular memory of the body to locate core issues or reincarnational blockages, and can serve to moderate between sub-personality fragments and the inner child. Your mentor can likewise be used to harmonize communications between yourself and others, as you can send the mentor focus into a higher dimensional field to connect with the higher selves of others for conflict resolution. Playing with the mentor focus can also have great rewards. You can focus your attention in the mentor space and then direct the mentor across the room to begin practicing effects of bilocation. You can travel with the mentor to distant locations to develop remote viewing skills, which will be used in later Cathara healing levels for remote healing. Your mentor can also become a vehicle for conscious transport of your awareness while awake, as well as in the dream state, and for higher dimensional projection applications. Technique 3. Awakening the mentor and the 6th and 7th senses. Ensure you're comfortable in a seated position. Use music if you wish. Begin by placing the fingertips of both hands and the focus of your attention at the navel. Take a few slow, full breaths, and then visualize the image of a blue flame, like a small stove flame on a gas ring, deep inside the body behind the navel. Either visualize or intend the image of the blue flame to be present within the body, directly opposite the navel position. And with your fingertips, gently massage the navel while doing this visualization. Perform the massage for a count of 20 or 30. When you've completed your count, stop the massage action and visualize a sphere of white light within the blue flame behind the navel. When you've done this, place your attention within the white sphere and imagine that you can feel its reality around you, just as if you are sitting within the sphere of white light. When you have grown comfortable with the idea of having moved your consciousness into the white sphere, inside the blue flame, just breathe gently and visualize the white light sphere moving upward through the center of your body until it reaches the center of the brain at the pineal gland. Stop the movement of the white sphere there at the pineal gland. And on the next exhale, visualize the sphere of white light moving from the pineal gland out to your right in a straight horizontal line, so that the white sphere itself leaves its position at the pineal gland and moves outside of the body until it is positioned in your auric field just above your right shoulder and a distance of approximately 12 inches from the right side of your face. The sphere of white light positioned over the right shoulder now represents a portion of your awareness that was raised to the fifth dimensional frequencies as a result of its passage through the blue flame and the fifth Kathara center at the navel. You will name this part of your higher identity Mentor. Now, with the white sphere in the position that you've placed it, spend a few moments, briefly, imagining that you can feel the reality of this white sphere of light that holds your mentor, resting gently above your right shoulder. It's usual to see this as a fuzzy ball of energy. Mentor serves as the meeting point between your waking conscious mind and the fifth dimensional portion of your soul matrix identity, the archetype. With practice, you can lean the energy of your waking awareness from its position within your head over to the right and into the mentor space to receive direct cognition, audio and visual guidance from your fifth dimensional identity station. In healing facilitation, Mentor will communicate with the fifth dimensional archetype aspect of your client's soul matrix, asking how you may serve the client's highest evolution. The guidance Mentor receives will be translated to you from Mentor in the form of intuitive urges, spontaneous cognition, or audio-visual directions. Mentor will also serve as a translator of information from your higher dimensional stations of identity to your own conscious mind. At this stage, you are asked only to practice creating and sensing the mentor sphere over your right shoulder, to grow accustomed to carrying it around with you wherever you go, and to play with moving the focus of your consciousness back and forth between the inside of your head and the inside of the mentor sphere. Try perceiving from both focuses of attention simultaneously. Playing like this will help stimulate neurological sensitivities to translating and perceiving information from the fifth and higher dimensional stations of awareness. Once you've grown comfortable with the concept and practice of creating the mentor sphere, you'll be ready to move into the second component of the exercise, connected with the awakening of the sixth and seventh senses, the Audurea and the Tristet. So we begin this component by taking your focused attention to the mentor sphere over your right shoulder. Just take a few slow, deep breaths and visualize your mentor expanding into a sphere the size of a basketball. Now, on the next inhale, you are to draw the mentor sphere toward your own head, visualizing the mentor moving from over your right shoulder to a position surrounding your entire head. As you exhale, stop the movement of the mentor sphere and imagine that you can feel its fuzzy energy all around the outside of your head, as if your head is now within the basketball-sized mentor sphere. On the next inhale breath that you take, contract the mentor into a small sphere of white light, positioned inside the center of the brain at the pineal gland. And when you've done that, just exhale and breathe slowly for a moment. Hold the image of the contracted mentor sphere of white light at the pineal. And with the next exhale, push the small mentor sphere from the pineal gland straight forward and into the sixth chakra at the forehead. As you do this, visualize the mentor moving into the sixth chakra from inside the head, but continuing to move through the sixth chakra spiral, straight outward and away from the body. Imagine the mentor sphere traveling outward through the long blue-violet tunnel of the sixth chakra spiral until you visually lose track of the mentor sphere far out in front of you. Just take your time, and when you've completed this, just breathe easily. On the next inhale breath, visualize the mentor sphere, the white sphere of the mentor beginning to reappear in the distance, moving back towards you through the 6th chakra spiral, as if it were riding in on your inhale breath, floating all the way back into the original position at the pineal gland. And once again, just breathe slowly when you've completed this stage. Now, with the next exhale breath that you take, you will visualize the mental sphere moving down from the pineal gland at the center of the brain, stopping at the center of the 5th chakra in the throat. So on the exhale, just move the white mental sphere down to the throat chakra and breathe slowly once you've done it. On the next exhale, push the white mental sphere straight outward, imagining it moving forward from inside the throat into the blue-green spiral of the 5th chakra. Just visualize the mentor riding the current of the out-breath into the distance within the blue-green tunnel of the 5th chakra, spiraling away from you until it fades from view. Then take a few slow breaths. On the next inhale, imagine the white mental sphere returning through the blue-green 5th chakra spiral to rest deep within the throat. And to complete the technique, use the final inhale and exhale to move the mentor back to the pineal gland and out over the right shoulder. So, on the next inhale, draw the white mental sphere back up to the pineal gland, the center of the skull. And on the following exhale breath, push the mental sphere back out to its home position in the auric field over the right shoulder. The process work involved in working with the mentor technique is that which opens up the 1st to the 5th sub-frequency bands within each dimensional layer of the 6th and the 5th chakras. This begins the process of opening the 6th Audurea and 7th Tristet senses, stimulating inner vision and audio to higher dimensional frequency perception.